So for today's meditation, something that came up over this past weekend was I had a good discussion with some people about reincarnation. And if you read any of the classic ancient Indian stories that Hinduism and the yoga philosophy is really rooted in, if you read any of those old stories, reincarnation is an integral part of the storyline. And the two classic writings are the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. And in both of those stories, it covers multiple generations and the effects of reincarnation or wishes or curses. These span lifetimes. And so reincarnation is always something I've been interested in. And I thought that today we would actually do a meditation with a little bit of the flavor of the reincarnation. Now, I think there's two ways to look at reincarnation. One is the kind of curiosity, or the kind of curiosity way to look at reincarnation, which is, oh, have I lived in the past? Who was I? What was I? You know, was I a prince? Was I a pauper? Was I a queen? Was I a princess? Was I, a washerwoman? What was I? Kind of that curiosity. And that's one way to look at reincarnation. The other way to look at it is in terms of the big picture of the spiritual journey. And when we talk about the spiritual journey in yoga and meditation, the idea is that the peak or the pinnacle or the goal of the spiritual journey is to attain enlightenment, which you could call samadhi, nirvana, awareness of the kingdom of heaven within, however you want to phrase it. And in that sense, reincarnation is seen as a function of continuous progress. And so the goal of yoga has to do with the transformation of consciousness, let's say from mineral consciousness or plant consciousness to animal consciousness to human consciousness, and then to divine consciousness. And so the idea of reincarnation is really simple, and that is that in order to make that progression, it doesn't just happen in one lifetime, that one lifetime is too short to span that progress, which makes sense on a lot of fronts. And particularly if you just look at the evolution of the world as we know it, if we say the Big Bang was billions of years ago, then if creation began billions of years ago, then if creation's taking this long to evolve, you look at physical evolution. So if the earth is taking millions and millions of years to evolve, etc., why would we think that the evolution of human consciousness, that we can reach the peak of evolution of human consciousness in 80 years or 50 years, or let's say someone only lives for 10 years, or a child is born and then passes away very quickly. And so if you look at the time spans we're dealing with in the physical evolution being millions and billions of years, then why would we think that the evolution of consciousness to reach its peak can happen in just a really short period? And so that's just kind of a logical way to think about it. Another is the idea of cause and effect. And so two of the core things in our mind that help us understand the world are the idea of cause and effect, and then the basic principles of morality. So in studying the yoga philosophy, about the yamas, the the moral injunctions, nonviolence, truthfulness. Those are two of the main ones, not being violent and being truthful. And so we feel intuitively that if we live a good moral life, then it's going to create positive vibrations, and those vibrations are going to fill our world, both on a personal level and on a larger level as more people adopt those. So we believe in ethics and morality. If you do kindness, that it creates kindness, and kindness expands. But so we believe in that intuitively, and yet when you look at the world, you look at like people who are deceitful and greedy and selfish, and you see them and they seem to be prospering. They seem to be doing great. Whereas a lot of times people who are honest and forthright kind of get crushed, or negative things happen to them. And so a lot of times when we look at like the moral life, it doesn't seem to make sense. But that's when we look at it from one lifetime. And so maybe there are events that we're not seeing, that the effects are playing out now. And the actions we're seeing now, maybe those effects won't even play out in this lifetime. And so then that's also the idea of cause and effect, is you look around at life and there's so many inequities. Why is one person born into affluence in America, another person is born into abject poverty in another country? Why does one person pass away? Why does one infant die? And why does one person who smokes and drinks their whole life live to 94 years old? So we look at life and it's like, wow, this really doesn't make sense. We believe in cause and effect, and okay, a lot of things seem totally contrary. And again, that's if we look at a really narrow spectrum. So it'd kind of be like if you met someone for the very first time, and you tried to understand them just by the period of time in which you met them. So you meet someone at the park, and you try and fully grasp them and understand their life just by what is occurring since the moment you met them until they leave, like a 3-hour span. You meet someone new at a park party, and you try and understand them fully by what occurred at the park. Oh, they had a nice picnic meal at the park and there were lots of friends there, but they weren't happy. And you're like, life makes no sense. Well, you don't know what happened to them that morning or the day before, so to think you could understand someone just for the time, understand their whole life in the short period of meeting them for a few hours makes no sense. And so the same thing would be the idea of reincarnation, is that why we are the way we are, what's happening in the world, all of these things, if we try and look at it just as a very small, narrow band of information, it may not make sense. So then this brings in the idea of meditation. And they say one of the great boons, or one of the great things we can gain from meditation, is the ability to feel how many times we've come and gone, how many times we've lived, and to let that wisdom and knowledge fuel the intensity of our spiritual life in this lifetime. So in the meditation we're going to do, the goal is not going to be, oh, let me figure out what I was in my past life. Rather, the goal is going to be to get, or to connect with an intuitive sense of a very deep part of yourself that transcends your body, that transcends this realm of time and space, and to feel the expanse of it. And in that, if you can start to feel that even a tiny, tiny bit, you begin to get a sense of both the significance of a single lifetime, but also how you don't want to really get overly concerned with the little details in life. You want to stay focused on the big picture. So that's the idea of this meditation, is to connect with your deeper spirit that transcends time and space, and let that fuel the intensity of your meditation journey. And last thing I'll say before we go into this, the idea of reincarnation, you find it in the writings of the ancient Greeks. Socrates and Plato believed, they taught the transmigration of souls. It's part of Hinduism, it's part of Buddhism. And it's just, in our modern society, it's not given a lot of credence necessarily. And oftentimes in Christianity looks at life as one lifetime, at least as it's taught in the modern world. In the Bible, there's some nice references to multiple lifetimes, but as it's taught, and so the idea of one lifetime is, I think, we'll explore in our meditation to see if it feels a little narrow. Okay, so with that, we'll move into our meditation, sitting up nice and straight, energizing, getting lethargy out of our minds, and sitting up nice and straight, energizing muscles in our spine. Move the jaw side to side. Open and close the eyes. Get all the wiggles out of the face. And starting to take some big full breaths. Feel your chest expanding. Big full breaths. And wherever your hands are, bring them to your thighs, palms up, and let's link the hands and the lungs. So on the inhale, hands open wide. Exhale, squeeze the hands into a fist. Try to, as precisely as possible, link the movement of your hands with your breathing. Now you can ease up on the movement of your hands. And I'm just going to do a twist, and just doing it at your own pace. But on the inhale, you lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, twisting to one side, your choice. First, low spine, spine behind your chest, then a mild twist in your neck. You can use your hands to help deepen the twist. Again, waking up the muscles in your spine. Big inhale. And on the exhale, moving to the other side. Inhale back to center. From here, we'll move into a comfortable position to go into conscious relaxation. As you breathe in, becoming aware of the muscles in your forehead, around your eyes, exhaling, releasing, relaxing those muscle groups. Inhale, breathing in an awareness, the muscles in your cheeks and jaw. Exhaling, melting, releasing. Breathing in an awareness of your chest, filling with air, expanding. Also, awareness of your core. Exhale, releasing in the chest area, but in the core, drawing your belly button in on the exhalation. So it's releasing in the heart center and it's strengthening in the core, strengthening with personal power. Finally, choose one other area of your body where you want to bring release or relaxation. As you breathe in, become aware of that area. As you exhale, release, relax. Now, flowing right into yogic concentration, become aware of your eyeballs. Hold your eyes still. Gaze into the back of your eyelids. Look for shifting colors, patterns, images. Keep your awareness in your eyes. If you drift into thought, no worries. Just bring awareness back to your eyes. Add in the sense of touch, breath moving in and out through your nose, stillness of your eyes, awareness of touch. Add in awareness of your ears and sound to your concentration. Now we're going to use our imagination and our clear thinking for the reincarnation visualization. And you can use your imagination. There's no right and wrong way to do this. So visualize or imagine the vast universe and add in the element of time. So normally we think of images as just one moment in time. But as you visualize the vastness of the universe, add in the feeling of the vastness of time. Now imagine your physical existence in terms of size and time in that vast universe. This tiny, tiny, tiniest little dot. And now in this vast universe full of rocks and planets and gases and electrons and all of that, become aware of the unbelievable creative energy of your consciousness, the ability to think, to imagine, to have a sense of self, to reflect. We are such a high evolutionary point of the universe. So, does it make any sense that you would just disappear after this leap in time and space? Or that it would just appear out of nowhere? So now instead of visualizing yourself just as one little point, allow yourself to expand in time. Surely your body will shift and fade and change. Try and feel that consciousness that logically must expand beyond that little blip moment. Try to visualize and feel that, and feel yourself, the core of your heart, in the center of this expansion. So bring yourself, your feeling of self, into the visualization. Now imagine keeping that visualization going. Bring in the reality of a tree. How over the life of a tree, it changes shape, it grow, leaves fall, new trees sprout. So the physical world is constantly regenerating. And add in that awareness when it comes to your own body, the idea that one body comes and goes, but another body rises up around your essential being. So imagine you're like that energy in the seed that sprouts a new physical body. Try to feel that in that expanse of time and space. And now at a deep intuitive level, simply ask yourself, what makes more sense? That you come and go in one single deep in the whole time space continuum where energy can't be destroyed or created? Or does it make more sense that there's more expanse and more existence to you than you currently imagine, or than you currently think there is? Ultimately, through this type of meditation, you're looking for that feeling within yourself of being more than a physical body that simply comes and goes in one fragmentary moment in this universe. Trying to feel that energy part of yourself that is far longer lasting through time and space. And by connecting with that part of yourself, you'll come to know the overall feeling of reincarnation. And then, if it will help you to know specifics about past lives, your soul or your deeper spirit will give you glimpses. But overall, hopefully, we've learned from the past and can forget it and move with that wisdom into the present moment. No sense to dredge up the past if we don't need to. All right, it's been very nice doing this deep meditation with everyone. Light within me bows to and respects the light in each of